Hello there, my name is Tori, and today I want to talk about the TESOL certificate on Coursera, about the second course, which is Teach English Now, Theories of Second Language Acquisition. So let's start with the structure. So this course lasts for 6 weeks. Each week has 3 lessons. After each lesson there is like a short test. And after each week, you need to write an essay and you need to write something like a final test. So basically, let's just say to summarize all of the information that you've learned during the week. The difference between the first course and this one is that the essays are a bit different, because in the first course, let's say, you could be creative. While in this course, mostly what you had to do was to compare different approaches. Okay, so please compare this approach and that approach. What are like the similarities? What are the differences? And which approach aligns with your teaching style more? And that's it. So let's say less creativity, and I would say that is a drawback of this course because I really want to be creative in my essays, and unfortunately in this course I didn't have like a lot of room for creativity. So let's talk about the content of this course itself. So in the beginning they talked about things like that in teaching there are 3 aspects that are important, like purpose, content, and technique. So in purpose you ask the question why and who, in content the question is what, and in technique the question is how. For example, like how does a learner learn a language? So how should you teach a language? How can we help the student remember the language? And stuff like that. So it's like you need to answer 6 questions in each approach that they talk about. So they talked about 6 or 7 approaches. I don't remember a precise number, so let's just say they talked about the grammar translation approach, the direct approach, the reading approach, the audiolingual approach, the cognitive approach, effective humanistic approach, comprehension approach, and communicative approach. Yeah, 8 approaches. Something like that. So each approach is interesting on its own. So they kind of it wasn't like a lecture. So let's say they talk about the grammar translation approach. So number 1, you kind of went back in the past, traveled back in the past, and they showed how did this approach look like many years ago. The next video was to focus like Angel and Devil debate. So Angel was like, okay, so this approach is good because of this, and this, and the Devil was like, oh, so no, this approach is bad because of like this, and this. And in the final videos they summarized all of the information, and it was easy to understand and, let's say, learn and acquire all of that information, something like that. Also, what I really liked, that in each approach they found something positive that you can use in real life. Like in the direct approach there is this good thing like self-correction. In reading approach they talked about scheming that is used nowadays. Let's say in effective humanistic approach they talked about positive reinforcement. So basically our affective filter, that lowering the affective filter can really help our students learn. In the comprehension approach they talked about the silent period, so that sometimes students are a bit shy to talk, and that's okay. When they are confident enough they will start speaking, but while they are not, they just listen to the teacher, they monitor, and something like that. So it was great that they mentioned this silent period, because like before this course I read about this silent period mostly in kids, that the kids maybe quite timid in the beginning, so at first they just listen, and then in a month or 2 or 3 they can start talking, and that this thing is absolutely normal, that you shouldn't worry about that. And the last approach was the communicative approach. I've also heard about it before this course, because nowadays it's quite popular. Many English schools use this approach. So let's say this information wasn't very new for me, but something like that. Now let's talk about the pros of this course. So number 1, videos are short, really like that. Number 2, a lot of information that I didn't know. So a lot of information was new to me, and that was really awesome. Number 3, you can accomplish this course faster than in 6 weeks. It took me like a week or 10 days to accomplish Teach English Now, Theories of Second Language Acquisition. It was very informative. The teachers are the same. That charismatic guy, which I really, who I really liked in the first course, he was still there. So yeah, it was good. And the way they filmed these journeys in the past, also great. So it wasn't tedious, and that what's great about this course. Let's talk now about the negative aspects. So again, the negative aspects are the same as in the first course. I didn't get enough feedback. So mostly for me, I just got, okay, good, great, or a smile. And that's not enough for me, unfortunately. The next bad thing, like I said in the beginning of this video, I didn't really like the essays in this course, because for me, like, comparing 2 approaches was quite boring. And let's say I didn't get a chance to be very creative, so yeah, didn't like this one. But sometimes the essays doesn't have to be interesting or exciting, so in this case I know why they gave us like these essays. So mostly because we needed to, let's say, learn all of that information and acquire, and while writing these essays, while comparing different approaches, we learned. So that's like both a pros and a con. I'm just expressing, let's say, my point of view. For me, the essays weren't that awesome, but we had to do them because we have to learn. The next negative aspect, I wouldn't say that's negative, but for me, let's say this course had a lot of information. Mostly what I didn't like, that there were a lot of surnames of the scientists, of people who inspired this or that approach, and I'm not good with surnames and names, and most of the tests had questions like, okay, so who was the guy who inspired this approach, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're like, oh my god, I don't remember that at all. But yeah, we've got what we've got. Yeah, I guess that's it. I still like this course. I believe that it will be like beneficial for me in the future. It was beneficial for me like in this period of life, something like that. I really want to accomplish all of the 8 courses, because I really want to hear about, let's say, how to plan a lesson, how to teach, more in that direction, because I still think that like both the first course and the second, they are like introductions to teaching, but I want to see, let's say, to learn more information about the teaching itself. So more about, let's say, lesson planning, how to work with students, how to manage difficult situations and stuff like that. So fingers crossed, I hope I will hear that info in other courses. There are still okay, we've got the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 6 more courses. So I think they will talk about it, because I looked at the program. So let's say I'm waiting for it. And I'm giddy with excitement about the next courses. So let's say one more thing about this course. Again, my recommendation, try to take notes, because otherwise it would be quite difficult to pass the test. Oh yeah, so they also have each test has something like a pass or fail. I think 80% that's a pass, less than 80% that's a fail. And so if you want to get a certificate, all your grades need to be higher than 80%. And again, a recommendation about the language, your language needs to be at least intermediate, or I would even say upper intermediate. But again, not a problem, because you can always pause the videos, there are scripts, there are subtitles, so don't worry about that. Like, go for it if you really need it. So let's say in general, I would say this course for me is 8 out of 10, and I still plan to accomplish all of them. And yep, that's it for today. That's it for now. If you have any extra questions, please write them. I hope you like this video, so please like, subscribe, and that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Bye bye.